You are going to want to sit down for this one because my friend Jon Pugh puts on a masterclass for real estate agents. Look, if you're just starting out, Jon is going to share a plan on how to build your business from scratch. Even if you're new to an area, even if you have no deals, and even if you're trying to build your business to 6 or 7 figures. He's also going to share how he got free sushi for life as a real estate agent. And yes, he's going to tell you how you can do all of this in just 6 hours a week and how you can build an ancillary residual revenue stream. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. This is an awesome episode.
So technically, I still occasionally sell a house. I try not to when I can avoid it, just because I love the flexibility and I love the leadership and everything I'm doing. But yeah, I sold. So first 7 years of my career, I worked with a partner. We sold $5 to $50 million estates in coastal Orange County. So we sold Nicolas Cage's house for $35 million. We double-ended a $27 million deal at like the bottom of the market. And then I left that partnership and I wanted to work with like normal people who needed my help and appreciated what I did. And I started out on my own and I built like a $10 million real estate sales business. And then I went to Keller Williams and everybody had a team. And so I was like, oh, I'll have a team. And so I built a team and my business like tanked and it was terrible. And then I did it the right way. I had up to about 15 team members at one point, got up to about 30 million-ish in production, and then started to be more passionate about getting out of production. And I realized the best path to getting out of production was actually to run a smaller team, sort of more of what we see today as like a micro team model that would still allow some profitability. Because in order to be out of production, you also need to make money. And that's kind of the path that I've been on. I haven't really been in production the last couple of years, and it's really nice not having to do open houses and those things. But I always still think of myself as a real estate agent first.
It's so interesting you said that about, you go to a company like KW, which I followed that same path, and I had done team before, and then you get there and they're like, okay, now you got to start a team, and then you have to own an office, and you got to do all these things, and then all of a sudden, like I woke up, like you just said, and I was like, wait a second, like I'm doing twice as much work, but making a quarter of the money. What's going on?
Yeah, it sounded good. My ego liked it, but when I look back, I was like, nah, I don't know that any of this is really where I wanted to be, and I felt kind of trapped. And there was a lot of like ego. There's a lot of people watching you, and so it felt there was a lot of pressure to feel like I had to do things a certain way. Like if I didn't follow a certain path, then I wasn't good and I wasn't enough and whatever, and that just felt really icky for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you go to the events and you see people on panels and they're like, I'm doing this and I own this. And so you're like, okay, I want to do that too. But, is that necessarily the right path for what you want? Not always.
Right.
So John, so now that, and I knew you were, but I didn't know the extent of it. So that's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about helping agents become successful. So from what you've seen and from what you've done, what do you think separates kind of an agent who, let's say comes in the business, flames out in a couple of years, like a majority of them do, and then your agents who do really well and build amazing businesses? What are the things that really separate those two people?
I think a lot of agents overcomplicate it. So I think there's a couple different paths, right? For all the things about Keller Williams that might have been confusing or not made sense, one of the things that makes a lot of sense is sort of the basic premises of Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the book, not the team building side necessarily, but the basics, which are you need to build a database. You need to talk to a lot of people. You need to systematically communicate with them. You need to set appointments. Like those are the building blocks of any business, right? Whether you're a doctor or a lawyer or anything, like the first question is, do I have enough leads to hit my goal? Do I have enough relationships to throw off enough appointments to hit my goal? And so the agents that I see succeed understand how to work a database at a high level. They do have a system by which they work that database, and they follow that system. They don't let the emotions come in. This can be a highly emotional business. We've all been on that real estate roller coaster. I'm too busy. I can't prospect. I'm so broke. I need to prospect. I'm too busy. I can't, right? And so if you can like streamline that out and get to a point where like prospecting and really I like to use like relationship building in lieu of prospecting. Prospecting sounds like work. Like I'm out there in the field with like a pickaxe and I'm like sweaty and like whatever. I look at it just as relationship building. The quicker you can get to 200, I will die on this hill. The quicker you can get to 200 meaningful quality relationships of people who want to work with you and are willing to refer you, the better your life will be in real estate for the rest of your life.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If you've ever wondered where your next real estate client or commission check is coming from, or you're trying to scale your business to 6 or 7 figures, I want to invite you to book a free business strategy call by using the link down below. We'll hop on the phone. We'll do a deep dive into your business. We'll see what's working. We'll see what isn't. By the way, I have absolutely nothing to sell you. It's all free, and we'll see if potentially partnering with my team or my real estate group can be a benefit to you. But either way, I guarantee that you'll leave the call with a ton of value and a plan of action that you can execute right away to grow your business. Book that call, and I'll talk to you then. Now back to the video. I love that the specifics there, because you're really telling people like, hey, here's the number and here's what you want to do. So now that we have kind of the, the qualities and the focus, the question is, let's say you had to start all over again. I dropped you in a new market and you had to do real estate. You had to do real estate sales. What would you do to get clients quickly?
I would do several things, and this is because I have the experience. So if you don't have the experience, I would pick one of these. But what I would do is I would start by creating short form content. So every single day I would leverage the power of video to create short form content to meet new people. So I would be making videos. I would become the local expert of my local market. So as I was exploring, right, I'm in a brand new city. I don't know anybody there. I would start exploring the city. And as I explored the city, I would make videos about those things. The best places for date nights, the best donuts, the best gyms, the best beaches, the best whatever. I would become the local tour guide for all the things I was learning and experiencing. And that is very shareable and very relatable and very localized content. So my audience would be in the same geography as me. And I would be meeting people and having followers that are relevant to where I want to sell houses. And about 10 to 20% of my content would be about real estate. And 80 to 90% of my content would be about things that are relevant to people who live there. Because nobody who lives there actually cares about real estate. So I just happen to be a real estate agent that knows a lot about the local area, that's going to tell you where to take your wife on date night and how, what parks your kids are going to want to play at, and the newest donut store that just opened that you should know about, etc. Right? Then, because that doesn't take a long time. When you're making a YouTube channel, it's like a heavy lift. You got to do a lot of editing. It's big production. You might be lucky to put out 3 videos a week if you're like full time. When you're doing short form content, you can film that content and put that content out in maybe like an hour a day. The remainder, while those videos are running, because the video on the donut store and the video on the park and the video on the date night, all those videos are going to run simultaneously. And so I'm going to have the ability to be in multiple places at once because I made those videos. And so now I just bought back my time. So with the time I have left, now I'm going to go intentionally seek out relationships. So I'm going to go to the busiest gym. I'm going to go to the busiest breakfast place, and I'm going to stand in line and I'm going to chit chat everybody up. Maybe I'm going to go door knock in a couple specific neighborhoods, and I'm just going to go door to door and I'm going to just meet people. And my goal with that is to build an email list. And the email list is going to be something that serves me for the rest of my life. So Ricky Carruth is a great instructor on this concept, but I'm going to put out one amazing email every week. It's not going to be like, here's, market trends are up 5% and there's 423 houses in this neighborhood and whatever. It's not going to be boring. It's going to be one quality email every week that people want to read. And I am going to get as many people as possible signed up or opted into this email list. I'm going to do that through my short form videos. I'm going to do that through my belly to belly connections. I'm going to get all those people in there. And as I cull through, I'm going to meet hundreds of people on the internet and hundreds of people face to face. And eventually it's going to be thousands. And as I develop thousands of initial ice-breaking conversations, I am going to find and build a collection of 100 to 200 real relationships. Go make real friends, people I'd want to go grab a drink with, people I'd go to dinner with, people I would want to go to a baseball game and sit there with, whatever the case may be. And as I find those 100 to 200 people, I'm going to go deep with them. What are they into? What do they need? How can I improve their life? What's most important to them? How can I just really love on those 200 people? And once I make enough deposits, right? We can't withdraw from an empty bank account. So I can't go up to you, meet you the first time and be like, would you refer me? Will you send me all your people? It doesn't work. But as I make deposits, I can eventually start to take withdrawals. And the withdrawals that I'm going to take are going to look like, hey, Danny, man, it's been so great getting to know you. And like, it was awesome going to the baseball game and like your family's so cool and whatever. Hey, I just have a question. I got a big goal this year. I'm new to the area and I want to help 20 families make a move this year. And I'd love to do it by referral. And everybody, you've lived here your whole life. I'm just getting to know people. And I would love to work with people that are like you. I know you're not moving, right? I get it. You're happy in your house. You already told me that. But I know you know the people that I need to know. And I don't want you to introduce me to like everybody. But Danny, do you think you could introduce me to one person in the next 12 months that needs real estate help that I might be able to talk to? And when you do, just know that the reason that I want to do this is because I want to give back to this community. I just got here and I noticed that there's this local animal shelter or I noticed that the local Boys and Girls Club or the Little League needs whatever. And so I want to give back because I want to make a name for myself here. And so I want to help the kids at the local Boys and Girls Club or the local Little League. And so the only way I'm going to be able to do that is if you introduce me to people and I can help them with real estate, then that's going to allow me to give back to this local organization. And the whole thing is just going to be beautiful. Could you help me with that, Danny? And if I do that with 200 people that I've made deposits with, I will never have to ask for any business or prospect for any business or do anything else ever again.
Well, John, that was worth the price of admission right there. We can just stop. No,
Perfect.
but you know what I love about that plan, John, honestly, is it's simple. I mean, it's simple, not easy to execute, obviously, because you got to execute every day. But it's simple, and like you said earlier, agents try to overcomplicate things. Are we going to buy leads? Do we need to do YouTube? All these other things. But if you just do that, I mean, that's all you need to do, really.
It's very foundational, and it's very it's what most people will do. Most people won't start a YouTube channel, even though they know
Right.
they should. And like, that's a really good plan, by the way. Like, if you're the guy who will do it, that is one of the most effective things you can do. And yet, most people will never get there. But just going out and being like, I just need to find one quality relationship today. Like, stop trying to add 20 people to your database. Just go out and meet one new person, one local attorney. The other hack that I love is start your own networking group. Go out and you're brand new to the area. You need to build ask everyone you know, hey, I'm looking to find an amazing trust attorney. Who do you know? Hey, I'm looking to find a local mortgage rep. Who do you know who's in the mortgage business locally that's amazing? Go on the BNI website and look at the bottom for the list of professionals that they include in their networking group. And then go find the 20 of those that resonate with you and just be on a search for those people. The hairdresser. You couldn't find anybody better in the world than the right hair person, the barber, the hairdresser, whatever. Go find one really cool hairdresser that isn't best friends with a real estate agent that wants to be a part of your networking group. Meet with these people on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, help them build their businesses and exchange referrals with each other. And then you will be the byproduct. You can take 20 business owners. Each of those business owners knows 2,000 to 3,000 people by default. They wouldn't have a business if they didn't. If you can just become the guy that they think of for real estate, you've just now adopted 20 to 30,000 people minimum into your ecosystem. And all you had to do was focus on 20 key relationships and help those 20 people grow their business.
Man, amazing stuff, John. Like I said, definitely worth the price of admission. If I could go back, I almost said circle back, but I don't like that phrase. If go back to short form content really quickly, because some people might be intimidated by that. You have some awesome short form content on your social channels. We'll have a link for all of those in the description of wherever you're watching this or listening to this. But can you just maybe touch on that a little bit more, like what you're doing at these places, what you're saying, and where you're putting that?
Yeah. So when you first do it, your video is going to suck. So one of my favorite things that I learned is from Mr. Beast, right? We know Mr. Beast is highly successful. He said, don't come to me with your second video and ask for feedback. Come to me with your 100th video. Make 100 bad videos. And then when you have your 101th video, then you can ask me for feedback. Because part of learning is just doing. And so I need you to go out and just film content and make bad videos. But what you're doing is you're just, hey, go on Yelp. Go on Yelp and find the new restaurant, the new place, whatever. And you're going to show up and you're going to be like, I'm going to make a video. So you're going to stand out front and you're going to be like, hey, I'm here at this local hotspot. It just opened up. They serve these crazy donuts. Let me take you inside. I'm going to show you. I'm Jon Pugh with XP Realty, whatever. And then you go inside and you just film the donut case. And then you ask the guy working there, hey, is the owner or the manager here? And they're like, yeah, he's right there. Like, let me grab him. Or no, he's not, or whatever they say. And then you're like, hey, I'm doing a video. I want to promote your donut store. I know you guys just opened. Would it be okay if I grabbed a quick interview with you? Would you tell me like your 3 best things on the menu? Could I come back and see how you guys make the donuts and take a couple clips of that? Could I talk to people in the store? Hey, what do you think of the donuts? Could I get a quick interview on here? Which one was your favorite? Whatever. You're just filming little short 10-second clips that you just need 10 of them. And then you're going to go back and you're not going to do it at the same time. You're going to film all your footage at once. And then in your designated time block, when you're going to edit, you just get your phone out and you just put together a 60-second to 90-second video that has your face in it. Maybe the lead thing is like the pan of the donuts. And then it cuts to your face outside introducing the donut store. And then it cuts to you talking to the owner. And then it cuts to somebody eating a bite of one of these really delicious donuts. And then it talks about them, what they like about the donut store or whatever. And by the time you're done, it's over. And it's 60 seconds and it's quick because nobody has an attention span. And that is super shareable. Because when somebody pulls this up and they see the local market and you have hashtags for, Dallas or whatever market you're in, and then this is going to get shared in that community. And if you're lucky, it's going to go viral, but it doesn't need to go viral because you don't need 2 million people to know who you are. You only need 200 people to know who you are. And so if you are consistent with this, you're going to build a following of people who are like, man, I love this guy's videos. He talks about the local market. He talks about the parks and the donut stops and all this stuff. And he's just like really relatable and cool. Like think in your head when you're making this stuff, think Anthony Bourdain. You just want to be the Anthony Bourdain of your market. Just be the guy that's like out there. He's just cool. It's authentic. It's you. You're just talking to people. You're building relationships because you're doing all these things at once. On Instagram, you can tag the business owner as a collaborator. If you tag the business owner as a collaborator and they accept, then it goes on their page. Mm-hmm. You've now taken your content and put it in front of their audience. If you do that, you're promoting their business. What business owner doesn't want you to promote their business? It doesn't exist. So now you have not only have you promoted it, have you gotten their followers, have you created this content and all this other stuff, but the best piece is you built a relationship with the business owner. And they know a lot of people.
I love it, John. Other than me now really wanting a donut, that's a great plan. No, but honestly, look, if I wanted to go sell real estate here, I mean, that's exactly what I would do. I think that's such a great plan. It's easy, it's simple, and not only that, it's fun. I mean, you get to go have fun all day long, and that's your job, and you're building these relationships. So that is awesome, man. Thank you for both of those things. I think, like I said, if you're an agent, whether you're just getting started or trying to grow your business, if you just do those 2 things, you can have an amazing business. I want to ask you some fun questions about your real estate career while we're talking about that. And then we're going to transition to additional revenue streams as a business owner in real estate and not just an agent. But the fun question, the first one I have is, what's the weirdest way you ever got a client?
Oh man, the weirdest way. My favorite one ever is sushi. So I used to go to the same sushi restaurant like 2-3 times a week. We'd always sit at the sushi bar. So little tip, if you are a real estate agent, you're newer, whatever, I call this my I'll never pay for sushi again story. So who here would like free sushi for the rest of their life, right? I know
my wife. My wife wants free sushi.
Okay, I get free sushi every time I go, and I go a lot. The reason is, so I would sit at the bar. Anywhere I would go, I would always sit at the bar. When you sit at the bar, you have a chance to meet people. When you sit at a table, you don't get to meet anybody. So sit at the bar. We're done. We can just be done here. I met this guy. He sat next to me. He was super cool. And he would come in every once in a while and we got to know each other. And so if you go to the same places on the same days or at the same times, people are creatures of habit. So you're going to see the same people over and over again. And you're eventually, you see the same person 2 or 3 times, you guys are going to talk. You're going to be like, hey, I see you here all the time, whatever, right? It happens at the gym. It happens at sushi, whatever. Well, I started talking to this guy, and he's like a younger guy, and he has a really fascinating story, but it didn't really matter because he got to know me and he liked me. And he said, I want to introduce you to my dad. Well, his dad was a super, super successful attorney. And I ended up representing his dad on multiple transactions. And just by going to sushi, being cool, he introduced me to his dad. His dad was cool because he was cool. I took like several multi-million-dollar listings, helped him purchase a property. I mean, I think I ended up making like $70,000 just off this one relationship.
Wow.
It was awesome.
Amazing. That's how you get free sushi.
I'll never spend $70,000 worth of sushi. I can tell you that.
My wife might. In her lifetime, but no, that's awesome. And by the way, like, look, that applies, you can apply that to anywhere you go. Like you said, just talk to people everywhere you are. It's such great advice.
Yeah. And with an intent to be genuine and build a relationship. I didn't like talk to this guy to be like, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Will you introduce me to anyone? Whatever. No. I just talked to him like, I want to know about you. Like if you ask people questions about themselves, they will eventually ask you questions about you. So keep it 75% about them and wait for them to ask and be ready to answer when they do.
I love that, John. All right, some more fun questions. Your first year in real estate, how much money did you earn?
Okay, so my first year in real estate, I made like $10 an hour. I made less than the sign spinner guy, and I worked to learn. So I apprenticed with a top producer for years, making like no money. So when people tell me like, oh, John, you don't get it, like whatever. No, I get it. Like we call it work to learn, not work to earn. So I took that path and I made almost nothing. But when I went out on my own, after the years that I was in that partnership, I started completely from scratch. And I'll never forget this. I made $78,000 and my expenses were $72,000. So I had a profit of $6,000. It was a really good year, Danny.
I love that, man. And then fast forward to selling real estate. What was the most you earned in a year?
Selling real estate, I made about 650,000 gross one year.
Awesome. I love it. But obviously that took a lot of time and a lot of effort and putting in your years of work on that. So that's not instant.
And that was gross. I think like net on that was probably, depending on above the line, below the line, 250, 300K ish, something like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think we've covered the real estate side of things. And as an agent, you've given people enough to go execute. I think, one of the things that I see a lot of people doing is they watch webinars, they watch videos, they go to all these trainings. They don't actually take action. So the last real estate question I'll ask you is, how does an agent watch this and just force themselves to take action on it rather than going and learning more stuff?
Take notes. So take notes on all this. And then I want you to look at the notes, break them down into like items, like things you could do. And I want you to circle the one that stands out to you. If it's short form videos, if it's the donut store, if it's the gym, if it's the belly to belly, the email list, whatever it is, take the one thing that stands out to you and circle it. And that's the thing I want you to focus on. And you're not going to do anything else. They're all good ideas. You're not going to do anything else until that one is going really well. So if you've ever seen people spin plates, they don't start with like 7 plates, like on their foot and their hands or whatever. They start with 1 plate. Start with 1 plate and get that plate spinning. And when that plate is secure and good to go, then you can do the next one. And guys, if you're not going to take one idea and run with it, then what I want you to do is I want you to turn this off and I want you to pull up Apple TV Plus and I want you to watch Shrinking. Shrinking is the best show on TV right now. I guarantee you it is more entertaining than what we're talking about right here. Because if you don't implement, then this is just entertainment. And I promise you that show is a better use of your time. So please go do that. Or take one thing and implement it. And then create a doing done board. So we all have a lot of things we want to do. So this is one of my favorite tips. I got this from one of my mentors at EXP, Kyle Whistle. Take Post-its and write all the good ideas you hear on a Post-it, 1 Post-it each. and take a wall in your house or a big mirror in your house. And I want you to put all of those Post-its under the do section. These are all things we could do. Then I want you to pick the one that matters and I want you to move it over into the doing section. And I want you to work on it until it is good to go. And when it's done or good to go, I want you to move it over to the done section. As you move on over time, you will fill up that done section, and the doing section will always have stuff on it, but you'll have this like proof of work, and you will get energized by how many things you've actually accomplished. It's a really beautiful way to make sure that you actually finish something rather than just a whole bunch of stuff that you're never going to get to.
That is a great piece of advice. I'm definitely going to do that. I'm staring at the wall in front of me where I think I'm going to put that, and I really love that idea. Just one caveat: if you are going to turn this off before you go watch Shrinking, which I'm also going to watch, please subscribe to the channel. If you just want entertainment, that's fine too. We like that. That gives us more views. It pushes it out to more people on YouTube. It's good.
Like, subscribe, hit that bell, share it with a friend, and don't forget to follow me.
Exactly. Now we will have all of Jon's stuff down below, so follow him. He's especially entertaining on TikTok.
Thank you, Danny.
All right, so Jon, let's transition into, one of the things that I believe is, as a real estate agent, we are small business owners, and as small business owners, one of the things that actually I do credit our former company for is really teaching me about multiple streams of income. The problem there was that it didn't quite work out the way any of us wanted. And so I'm late to the game, but you came over to EXP some time ago, and I'd kind of love to hear the reason for doing that, and then how your journey has been here over the last several years.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So the reason that I came for agent attraction. I came for the opportunity within revenue share. And so if you're just hearing that and you're like, what's agent attraction? What's revenue share? Revenue share is money that EXP pays me, which I look at as a coaching payment for the value that I provide the industry. So I was a team leader with Keller Williams. I've been in leadership for a long time in the real estate space, and I am compensated from EXP for the lives that I've changed and the impact that I give other agents. And so the actual reason, though, that I came is because I was in a friendly competition of who could do more good in the world with a friend of mine. And she was kicking my booty. She was really good at it. She's on a bunch of nonprofit boards, and she's giving a lot of money away, and she's selling a lot of houses. And I looked at it strategically, and I was like, if I'm going to win this race, how am I going to do more good in the world where I currently am? It was like I was here and she was here, and I was like, this gap is big. And I thought, you know what? Rather than trying to pedal my bicycle faster, because I'm not super athletic, what if I just got a car? Like, what if I had a car instead of a bicycle? Would I be able to catch up then? And revenue share and EXP was the car for me to be able to get into more people's lives, to have a bigger platform. Because what I know is that if you want to have the best Girl Scout troop, or you want to have the best basketball team, or you want to win the Super Bowl, or you want to run the biggest company in the world, all of those things come down to people. It has to do with your audience. If you want to have a really successful fundraiser, you need really good people in the room, people with money. And so I knew that if I got to EXP, that I would have an opportunity to get in front of more people and to have a better vehicle that was going to allow me to then hit my goal of doing more good in the world. Money is good for the good it can do. And so that was why I came to EXP. And this model has allowed me to work through multiplication rather than addition. I could go and sell one more house. I could go and recruit one more team member. I could go and do all these things that were just addition, and it was a bicycle. But with EXP, I could go and I could meet a guy like Joe Turco and have him come over. And then through Joe Turco, I could have 300 more people partner with me, and I can impact the lives of 300 more people just because I met Joe Turco. It's incredible the leverage that is applied in this model.
That's amazing, Jon. And how long have you been at EXP now?
Just over 4 years. And I have personally sponsored less than one agent per month. So I look at sponsoring an agent like taking a listing, except my listing never went and got 300 more listings. My investment property never went and bought 10 more investment properties. And so when I list an agent, and all that means is I've added a ton of value to their life, and they decided they want to do what I'm doing. They want to get on board with the path that I'm on, the journey. They're just coming along for the ride. They become a partner. And so I listed less than one agent a month for the last 4 years. If I was listing less than one house a month for the last 4 years, I wouldn't even be a real estate agent. And yet that's all it took to grow an organization of over 900 real estate agents in almost every state in America and most of Canada.
Wow, that is amazing. And John, I will say it is a credit to the value that you add to your organization, though. So I think, this isn't lip service because I saw it before when I wasn't, in the inner circle, but now that I'm a part of it, I really see it. And I like what you said about it's a fee for coaching. I was talking to someone the other day and I said, hey, like we used to have a team and we used to take a 50% split from agents for the same stuff that we now give as part of, for free, basically, as part of the group, which I think is pretty amazing.
It was such a big part of my decision, Danny. I have this like ethical issue with taking money that I don't deserve. And so I never loved charging people for coaching. I never loved taking big splits when I wasn't like, if I took a split from you on my team, I better have given you the lead. Like, I just didn't like the idea of someone selling their cousin's house and paying me 50% of the revenue. It just didn't feel right. And so with EXP, like you said, I'm able to literally give everything away for free. I don't charge my agents anything. I don't charge them for coaching. I don't charge them for
All right.
mentorship. I don't charge them for, hey, got a minute? I don't like literally whatever you want. My playbook, my time. You want me to fly out and speak in your market? Whatever you want me to do, it's yours. Because the model is so powerful that I know that I can do that. Before, when we worked at other companies, I had to make a choice. Every day I had to make a choice. Am I going to invest my time in my own personal production? Am I going to invest my time giving back to my team? Am I going to invest my time helping other agents in my marketplace or in my office? Or am I going to invest my time with my family? And I had to choose. And anytime I made a choice, I was saying no to one of those other things. But what's so cool about EXP is that I am able to not have to choose. I can choose to give back to the community. And I know that by giving back to the community, it's going to take care of my business and my needs and my income. And it's going to allow me more free time to spend with my family. And so because of the structure of the model, now everything that I want in life is in alignment and I don't have to make a choice. I can just give openly and freely every single day to the industry at whole. Because that's the cool thing is the people who want to join me will join me. And all the people who don't join me, they just get to watch my TikToks.
That's right.
They just get the benefit of the stuff that I'm going to put out anyway, because I'm incentivized to help the industry as a whole, because I know a small portion of those people will choose to reach out to me and want to partner with me or want to partner with you. And then as a result of that, everything else in my life takes care of itself.
John, it's interesting. It took me it was like my second or third kind of call with an agent that I was talking to about joining EXP, and they were asking me like, hey, I want to join a team. Like, what do I get? And I started kind of going over, hey, here's what we do on a weekly basis. We have like 5 Zoom calls, and we have a huddle in the morning, and we have this and we have that. And then the guy actually asked me, he was like, oh, okay, so what's the split that I pay you? And I said, oh, you don't. There is no split to me. And he was like, wait, what do you mean there's no split to you? And I was like, yeah, there's no split to me. And that's when I got it. And I was like, wait a second. That's true. Like, there's no split to me. You get all this cool stuff and we can give it. And like you just said, we don't have to make that choice because of the way the model is built. So I think it's an amazing thing, from the outside. And I admit it, for a long time, I poo-pooed it, hey, that logo sucks. And it's all this different stuff. So I want to give you some of the things that, maybe either competitors or other people say, and would love to hear your thoughts on it, since you've been here for a long time and I haven't. The first one, obviously, is, hey, EXP is a pyramid scheme.
Any company is built like a pyramid. So whatever company you work at, whatever company you're considering, I want you to think, number one, do you pay them? So usually, yes, in some capacity, you either pay them with time or money. Where does your money go? Your money goes to your office and it pays for the manager. And then the manager, that money also pays for the regional owner and the regional director and the corporate overlord and whatever. And every company is structured in some type of pyramidic system, right? The truth is no, because number one, revenue share only goes for 7 levels. It doesn't go on forever. And number two, we only make money when people sell houses. 88% of the agents at EXP do not participate in revenue share. 88% of the agents at EXP only sell houses. So no, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's just a brokerage that sells a lot of houses that happens to incentivize their leaders to grow the company and give back through something where they give a little bit of the money back to people who help grow the company and help support the company. And they just got rid of all like that middle management. Like, I know you were kind of in the middle management and I was kind of a piece of it. And what I know is like my regional director never came to my office one single time. So why is that guy making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year if he has because you know why? Because he didn't have to. I am only compensated when my people win. I don't get a salary. I don't get any money. If my people don't sell houses and succeed and they aren't happy and they decide to stay, then I make no money. And I know that when I've had a job with a salary versus I've had a job with commission, I work a lot harder at the job where I have a commission. And that's what EXP is. This is a commission-based job that incentivizes me for my leadership.
I could not agree more. I think that is awesome. I know a lot of people, think that. So playing devil's advocate, obviously a great question. Second one for you, John, is, is it too late? A lot of people will say, hey, it would have been great to join when John joined or Kyle Whistle or whoever, but now, company's got 90,000 agents and everyone knows someone at EXP and I'm never going to be able to take advantage of revenue share.
That's sweet. There's a few ways to look at this. Number one is like I joined after a lot of people. EXP's been around for about, 14 years now. I've only been there for 4. So there's a lot of people that joined in the first 2 years, first 3 years, 5 years, like 10 years, whatever. And you could say they had an advantage, and maybe they did. But they also had a disadvantage because they were part of a company that wasn't in every state. They had to deal with the fact that like the roads weren't paved and like the system sucked and like it was a different company back then. So if somebody succeeded back then they really did a very good job because like there was like not a lot of stuff then. EXP was just a good idea until the right people showed up. And so now with myself and Dan Beer and Kyle Whistle and the Fast Forward movement and all these things that we have that are huge value stacks, it has made it so much easier to sell what we have. Right? So that piece alone is huge. The other thing that I would say is I've passed a ton of people. I've only been there 4 years. I have passed so many people who have been there longer than me. And it took EXP 5 years to recruit their first 500 agents. In the next 5 years, they grew by 50,000. We have about 90,000 agents right now. Where we are going is the 200,000 agent mark. You could say 400,000 or 500,000. You could put a number on. I guarantee you we are going to get to 200,000. Well, me and Dan and Kyle and you a little bit and a few other people, we had a crack at the first 90,000. But whoever joins today has that same opportunity to have a crack at the next 110,000. So there is an equal, if not greater, opportunity now than there was before, because there will be more agents joining in a shorter period of time than ever before. And it is more established, it's more proven, it's more profitable, it's more value. Everything is better today than it was before. So that is definitely a misconception that some people struggle with.
I love it, John. And on that same note, I will ask you, because you talk to a lot of agents, obviously you have, like you said, 900 agents in your organization. What is the biggest, and we may have already touched on it, but what is the biggest misconception people have about speed?
That's a great question. Those are good ones. I think that people, the biggest misconception I hear, and this is one our competitors love to share, is like, there's no culture. Like EXP is just about money. It's just about it. Oh, it's cloud-based. It's just connected. You're not going to know anybody. You're not going to have whatever. That is the biggest bunch of BS I've ever heard. This company has a culture of production. This company has a culture of giving back. This company has a culture of caring deeply about the agents and about bettering the industry. We have 90,000 agents. And if we extrapolate that down to the ones that do revenue share, we have maybe 12 to 15,000 who are participants in this model. Every single one of those agents is in a value race. They are in a competition with each other to see who can provide the industry with the most value such that they can get sponsorships. And so we have 12 to 15,000 agents that are every single day caring about how to make the industry better. No company has that. Not one of our cloud-based competitors, not any company anywhere has that many people who wake up every day trying to make this industry better for everyone. And so the culture at EXP is deep. I was blessed to just be named the Humanitarian of the Year last year for EXP out of 90,000 agents. I personally fundraised and gave back about $1 million to charities and causes that I care about. We granted 26 grants to families who lost everything in the Lahaina fires. I led multiple fundraisers for things that mattered. My group, I like to think of my group as the group with the most heart. Like, our culture is so deep, and anybody who says that EXP doesn't have culture is uninformed.
And John, congratulations on that, by the way. That's super exciting.
Thank you.
And, you know, I would, just in a short time, I would tell you that I completely agree. And I think it is because of what you said earlier, where that whole kind of the middle fat of a company has basically been taken out. And so what you get is you get people that they want to, like, look at other companies, and the one we were at before, people do want to share, but a lot of it is selfish because they have some coaching program they're trying to sell you. And here it's really isn't that. And so I've seen that firsthand, you know, just from everyone in our organization, and then even in others. You know, everyone really wants to help out and help you get to where you want to go. So I think it's a very cool thing.
Well, the reason they have a coaching program they want to sell you is because they need to make money, and they don't have other ways to make money. And so because
Right.
EXP gives us this thing where EXP pays us, and they pay us from this cap that's already low across the industry. So we're just getting a piece of this very good deal that EXP is willing to give you. I don't have to sell you anything because my coaching fee is already built into the model. And that's the difference. And when you really fundamentally understand that, that is what makes this company so much better than any of the other companies.
I love that, John. And I should ask, I don't know if we're allowed to say it, but as far as when you build an organization like this, and we can just give ranges if you want, but you have 900 agents now in 4 years in your organization. What does that translate to, you know, roughly in terms of income, if you're allowed to say?
Yeah, there's an income disclosure on EXP's website, and I would direct everybody over to that, and you can see some of the ranges on what people can make. And I will tell you, I coach a lot of agents on revenue share, and we use about $500 a month $500 per year per agent is about what it breaks down to, regardless of what size it is. And I have focused on agent attraction. So I have a group of 900, and I take it really seriously, and I help people like Joe Turco build organizations. And so for people who take rev share seriously, the sky's the limit. And I could teach this to anybody, and you can make 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month, 50,000 a month. But the thing that I'm more passionate about, Danny, is there's a stat that I love, which is if people had an extra $500 a month in passive income or in like unmarked income, half the bankruptcies in America would not take place.
Wow, no way.
The difference between 50% of the bankruptcies happening and not happening is $500 a month. And so for me, it's about how do I help every single agent at EXP make an extra $500 a month? And what I can tell you is that in order to make about an extra $500 a month, you need to sponsor maybe 3 to 5 agents. They have to be producers. They have to sell houses. But if you sponsor 3 to 5 agents that sell houses, not 100 houses, but some houses, you will make about $500 extra a month. And that is something that every single person should have access to. And that is really just about saying, hey, I have a great environment. We have great training. We have great leaders. We have great things going on. This environment's better than my last environment. Would you like to talk to somebody about it? Would you like to check it out? Do you want to come as a guest? I'm not saying anybody should like recruit as a full-time job. Everybody should just continue to sell houses. That's where most people make their money. But if you could have an extra tool in your toolkit where you could take something that's already working well for you and you could share it with people that you care about, and you could help them have a better life, and you could make that extra 500, which is going to cover your car payment, or maybe you like it and you do a little more and you make 2,000 and it covers most of your mortgage, or 4,000, it does cover your mortgage. Like if you just put 5 to 10% of your energy into this over the next 5 to 10 years, what would it look like? And those are the stories, those are the accessible stories that everyone can do and that I'm super passionate about.
I love that, John, and your passion comes through, and I think that's what attracts people to you. So I think it's incredible, what you've built, and you kind of took us down this path. So I'll ask you a similar question as on the agent side, but and this is kind of a selfish question for me, but as if someone comes and they want to focus on agent attraction, maybe they're still selling homes or it's not their main focus. What would the plan be for that? Please don't say donuts again because I'm really hungry.
Uh, and so I tell people, give me an hour a day and give me 3 hours once a week.
Okay.
I built my organization 4 days a week, 4 hours a day. So I worked from 10 to 2, Monday through Thursday, 100% focused on agent attraction. There are people who have done it bigger than me. So that is not the pinnacle, but that is what I would define as extremely serious. So if you want to be extremely serious, give me 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. That is like up here. If you are just, hey, I want to just build this out, 5-year plan, whatever, 1 hour a day, 3 hours once a week, meaning on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we focus on conversations with agents, inviting people to the next mastermind, just meeting people, follow up, like whatever. And once a week, we go through our next touch dates, just like you would with your seller pipeline or your buyer pipeline. You take all the agents that you've spoken to, every single one of them has a next touch date. For some of them, it was 3 months. For some of them, it was 6 months. For some of them, it's a week. Well, whichever ones land on this week, we're just going to follow up with those 5 to 10 agents. We're just going to check in on them. We're going to see how they're doing. We're going to see how we can add value to their life. If they don't join EXP, that's okay. Because if I add enough value to you, Danny, if I check in on you and I'm adding value to you, eventually you're going to introduce me to somebody who wants to make a move. You don't even have to join. You could just introduce me to people who want to join and I'm going to win. And so if I just take 200 agents that I know or I could get to know in my marketplace or anywhere around the world that I know through social media or anything else, and I just care for them and I check in on them occasionally and I add value to them where I can and I let them come check out our stuff and I give them resources when I have them and I can connect the dots for them. It doesn't take more than maybe 6 or 10 hours a week, right? 6 on the low end, 10 on the high end. And you can, again, you're just looking to list one agent per month. If you do that consistently for 4 or 5 years, you would be shocked at what your life is going to look like.
And that 200 number sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Very similar business model, right?
Exactly the same as what you would do if you were listing houses. You only really need about 200 key relationships in your life. You can do anything. A famous quote from Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Bain Henyon came back to Gary and said, you're going to need about 15 to 20 people. And he said, wow, I thought it would be a lot more than that. And he said to him, well, Jesus changed the world with 12, but you're going to need a couple extra. And that's the truth. Like, that's the beauty of this model. And that's the truth is like, Jesus changed the world with 12. Like, you'd be shocked what you can do with a handful of the right people.
Yeah, it's a great plan, and I'm so passionate about helping people create those multiple streams of income because I think otherwise you end up later in life and you're still having to prospect, like you said, and list homes and stuff like that. And so before I thought the only answer was building a team because I didn't have this, and so now that I have this, this is such a great avenue to not only, like you said, help people and add value to people's lives, but create an amazing organization that has no boundaries either. One of the things that limited us before is you had to only attract agents in your own area, really. And so this is an amazing thing. So I love it, and this is so much value to everyone that's watching and listening for sure. All right,
Danny,
John. So is there anything?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What's the most number of houses you ever sold in a given year?
So the personally or the whole team?
Overall.
So I think as a team we did like 120 or something like that.
120. That's amazing, man. That's so cool. That's like more than most
Yeah.
people watching this will ever sell, right? Like 120 is
Right.
such a number, and you're like, oh my God, Danny was like, this. You were a big deal. And so what year maybe approximately was that?
Let's see, that was probably like 2000, let's see, like 15, 16-ish, somewhere in that range. And then the brokerage I ran, we probably did, 300, 400.
Let's say you 120 with your team, 2016. In 2017, what did the scoreboard say when you started the year?
Yeah, it was a big fat 0.
It said 0-0. You were it was 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line, You had 80 yards to go down the field. You started from literally scratch. That is every single real estate agent, every single day, every single year. If you don't show up, if you don't go on that appointment, if you don't take that next listing, you don't have any money. When I started this year with 800 agents. Next year, I'm going to start the year with like 1,200 agents. The year after that, so I don't have to restart my life every single year. I just get to keep building on what I already built. It's a completely different life.
So, John, this is such an important point that I want to touch on. But before that, everyone, I retired from football 25 years ago, but everyone still gives me the football analogy. So I'm not a dumb jock anymore. It's been a long time.
Perfect.
Everyone gives me the football analogies. Anyway, so I want to touch on this because I think this is so important. A long time ago when I was an attorney and when I was a real estate agent, I used to get together with my financial advisor buddies. And I used to always tell them that I was really jealous of their business model. And the reason I was jealous of their business model was because of the residual income. Because I used to always tell them, when the month turns over, you still have 100 clients, you still have your percentage that you're getting. In real estate, our only residual, really, I guess you could say your database, but not really. And so this is critical. And I've never seen that until now. So it's amazing.
My mom always told me she wished I had gotten into insurance for that exact same reason. Because when you're really smart, you understand residuals are what matter. I'll do this really quickly so you can understand. But Danny, when you sold 120 houses, you probably made, let's just say you made like 500,000 gross, right? Let's just pick a number. $1 million gross, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you're going to have expenses, and that's going to take you down to 500,000. And then you're going to have taxes, and that's going to take you down to 250,000. And then from the 250,000, you're going to do what with it? You're going to buy an investment property. That's what most real estate agents are taught to do. So I'm going to take my 250,000, I'm going to buy an investment property. We live in California. I live in California. You used to. So I can't buy anything with 250,000. So maybe I go out of state and I buy something like cash in Illinois, or maybe I get a loan on it and I buy $1 million property and I take 75% financing and 250K. Either way, once I stack it out, I am most likely to be making a couple $100s a month in cash flow, in passive income. But it's not passive because I've got vacancy and all these other things. And I'm not telling you not to invest in real estate. You absolutely should. And there's depreciation and tax benefits and all that stuff, right? Long-term appreciation. There's things there. However, in a cash flow game, you had to work roughly 2,000 hours in order to net enough money to invest to make a couple $100s a month in passive income. You had to work 2,000 hours. In this model, I had to put in however many hours it took me to literally partner with one agent, because that one agent is going to pay me that same amount of cash flow on a monthly basis. So which makes more sense? Driving here and 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 here, and 2,000 hours later, I end up with a couple $100s a month in passive income? Or could I just go from here to here in a much shorter period of time and earn that same amount of passive residual income with no liability? When you sold 120 houses and you had a team, you had liability up to your eyeballs. When an agent that I sponsored in Kentucky does something stupid, I have no liability on that. It's a really, really, really smart business model if you care about passive income and cash flow.
Amazing. I love that story. I was going to ask you, John, if there's anything you want to leave everyone with, but I think that was fantastic, unless you have something else that you dying to share.
If that makes sense to you, if you stayed this long, if you heard that, if that makes sense to you, please do me a favor. Don't reach out to me. Reach out to Danny. Reach out to Danny and start the conversation. And if it makes sense, Danny will get you on with me and the three of us will talk. And that's what's cool about this model is you don't have to come to me. Me, you, and Danny can all be partners. And I would love nothing more than for people to reach out and say, hey, I heard you with Jon Pugh. That made a lot of sense to me. I'd love to talk to you. And then maybe the three of us could get on a call.
I love it, John. Thank you so much, man. I mean, I will tell you that there's so much value in this and on execution. Again, I always go back to that because people watch so many things. I think you gave everyone a great plan. So, execute on what you heard today, or subscribe and go watch Shrinking.
Absolutely. Subscribe and watch Shrinking, or execute on one thing. Write them down, circle the one you're going to do, and do it. And if I can help you in any way, please do reach out to me for help. But if you want to talk EXP, reach out to Danny.
I love it. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. I'll have that link for you down below as well. So thanks so much, John, for your time, and congrats on all the success you've had.
Thanks, Danny.
All right, well, if you've made it this far, first of all, I want to say thank you for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed that episode just as much as I did. I know I took a ton of notes, and I watched it a bunch of times, but like Jon said, and like I was talking about, the key here is execution. So if you watch this and you enjoyed it, I want you to grab that pad of paper, just like Jon said, and write down the one thing that you are going to execute on after this episode. And most importantly, go do it. And if you want a different take and you want to hear from someone who's built a real estate team that's going to sell $700 million of real estate this year, that's right, $700 million, check out my interview with Kyle Whissel right over here.